The World Cup has given us plenty of amazing moments over the years. In fact, there are too many to even mention by name, and so far the Qatar edition seems to be going the same way. Some are calling it the greatest group stage of all time, and you'd be hard pressed to deny that given how many shocks we've already had. But with the good comes the bad, or at least the controversial, and as such there have also been many moments like these in past tournaments. These controversial moments are normally few and far between, but one place you wouldn't expect them would be in celebrations. You wouldn't think that a moment of joy for players and entire nations alike could be considered controversial, but if that were the case, this video simply wouldn't exist. But just before we get into the list, we want to introduce you to one of our major sources for football news, gist, and insider scoop. OneFootball is your one-stop shop for everything football related. Live scores, transfer news, general football updates, literally everything. Also, you can follow your favourite club and favourite players and get all the latest updates about them as a notification from the OneFootball app. So what are you waiting for? Click on the link in the description to download the OneFootball app. You're welcome. Let's take a look at 5 of the most controversial goal celebrations in World Cup history. Number 1. Vincent Aboubakar. Does the name sound familiar? It should be, because he's the player that recently handed Brazil their first group stage loss this century, scoring deep into stoppage time to give Cameroon the win and salve the wounds of those fans who were sad to be going home. Sounds like a nice story. You must then be asking yourself, why does he find himself on our list? Well, let us explain. In the heat of his celebrations, Aboubakar seemed to forget about his previous booking and took off his shirt as the whole stadium and nation of Cameroon erupted in jubilation. He was mobbed by his teammates and proceeded to even strike the hands on chest Ronaldo celebration. Completely caught up in the moment. Truly beautiful scenes, but short-lived, as the referee soon after brandished him with his second yellow card of the game, meaning that he had to be sent off. Not the way he would have liked to end his World Cup, but at least he got an amazing story out of it. We are sure it will still make for a great story long after he hangs up his boots. Number 2. Xherdan Shaqiri and Granit Xhaka. When Switzerland beat Serbia recently, many of us just saw it like a regular group stage game. The only underlying tone seemed to be a fight for qualification between the two. This couldn't be further from the truth though, as there was a rivalry brewing ever since the 2018 edition, when a certain celebration from Switzerland's 2 leading men angered Serbia massively. The pair both scored against Serbia back then and celebrated with the rather controversial Albanian eagle celebration. They simply crossed hands with spread fingers to represent the eagle that's shown on the Albanian flag. Now, why would this be controversial, you ask? Well, Shaqiri and Xhaka would grow up representing the Swiss team, but their links to Albania and Kosovo have always been a part of their identity. Kosovo, an ethnically Albanian state, happens to be one that Serbia refuses to recognise, and as such, you can see why this celebration rubbed Serbians the wrong way. Back in 2018, fines were issued to both Xhaka and Shaqiri for their celebrations, with FIFA hoping to deter any political messaging throughout the World Cup. It seems to have worked, as there was no similar incident this time around. Number 3. Alex Morgan. Yes, even women's football can be riddled with controversies such as the one Morgan found herself in back in 2019. Leading the line for eventual champions USA, she scored the winning goal in the semi-finals against England to send the States through to the final. Her celebration though took up all the headlines back in England. She celebrated by putting her fingers to her lips as if sipping an invisible cup of tea. As you can already tell, England fans lost their minds over this. They assumed she was mocking their culture, as they are synonymous with tea drinking. This garnered massive outrage across the pond, with none other than Piers Morgan chiming in and calling it no less than a declaration of war. A bit dramatic from him, but what do you expect? Alex would later go on to clear up the true meaning of the celebration. She said it was merely a tribute to Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner, who used the phrase "and that's the tea" frequently in her social media. We're not sure we believe her, but what do you think? Number 4. Diego Maradona. This comes in 2 parts, one being absolutely disgraceful, while the other towing the line between iconic and controversial. Let's start at the 1994 World Cup in the game against Greece that would give us Maradona's last goal for the Albiceleste. Whipping in a beautiful goal with his famous left foot, the Argentine captain showed everyone his brilliance, but the goal is often forgotten because of what happened afterwards. Fueled with more than just adrenaline, he proceeded to race towards the touchline with TV cameras getting an unattractive view of the Argentine, whose wild, bloodshot eyes glared straight down the lens. Predictably, a drugs test was in order, and the veteran superstar, who was battling cocaine addiction for years, got an F, testing positive for the performance enhancer ephedrine. He was sent home just 9 days later and thus ended his career with Argentina. The second part comes during what many would consider his most famous goal, the Hand of God. We all know what happened up until the ball went in the net, but what you might not be aware of is that immediately after, Maradona wheeled away in celebration, avoiding any sheepish actions that would look suspicious. He was extremely happy and didn't look at all like someone who had just struck the ball in with his hand. Surely this played a part as the referee awarded what is the most controversial goal of all time. Number 5. Luis Suarez. Technically, this isn't an actual goal celebration, but bear with us because it may as well have been. Back in 2010, Ghana played Uruguay in the quarterfinal of the World Cup, and with the scores level at 1-1, Suarez literally took matters into his own hands during extra time. To stop a goal, the striker handled the ball like a goalkeeper on the line to keep Uruguay's dreams alive. He was subsequently sent off, and Ghana were awarded a late penalty kick. It all seemed to have been in vain. Visibly upset as he left the field of play, Suarez was then pictured punching the air just moments later after watching Asamoah Gyan strike the crossbar from 12 yards. It was at this moment the striker became a pantomime villain in the eyes of millions around the world tuning in to watch Ghana in the hope of them reaching the semi-finals. Uruguay would go on to win on penalties, with every player, Suarez included, jumping for joy afterwards. His actions on that day left a sour taste in the mouth of Ghana fans, something that has not changed even to date as the two faced off in the 2022 edition. Before that game though, he refused to apologise for it. Make of that what you will. There you have it, those are the 5 most controversial goal celebrations in World Cup history. What do you think of them? Let us know down below in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on that bell notification so that you never miss out on any of our new videos, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.